This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Prime. In association with Micromax. Nothing like anything.
Keen to study in the UK, believe that you deserve a spot to study with some of the world's best minds, but don't know whether you can manage the funds. Well, that's been the story that so many young students have been writing into us, and that's exactly what we're trying to address. There are plenty of scholarships for you to study in the UK. There may just be one for you with your name out there. How are you going to crack it? How are you going to go about it? That's what we're going to try and understand over the next 20 odd minutes or so. Let's get started right away. With me, a very special panel. There's Richard Everett, Director, Education and Society, British Council, India. There's Chetan, who's a Jubilee Scholar. Thanks, Chetan, for being with us. Sonia Mehra Chawla, Charles Wallace India Trust Scholar. Thanks also for taking our time to do this. And there's Ankur Garg, the Chevening Scholar. Thanks again for being with us. Also on Skype from the London Business School, we will have Aditya Paranjpai in just a bit. But Richard, let me just start with asking you, a young aspirational country really wanting the best in education, be it in India or abroad, eyeing the UK, but doesn't know if all of us can really get the funding together. That really seems to be the heart of the problem for many people who want to go. In a nutshell, what would you say to them? How easy is it to get these scholarships? And not everyone's going to have this kind of luck, or will they?
So thanks, Natasha. I think the first thing to say is there's never been a better time for Indian students to come study in the UK for scholarship purposes. We now have more scholarships for Indian students in India this year than ever before. So the government Chevening Scholars Programme, for example, has not doubled but quadrupled their budget for Chevening scholarships this year. We've been able to offer 750 great scholarships over the last 2 years, and of course we have Charles Wallace scholarships, we have Commonwealth scholarships, we have the Jubilee Scholarship Scheme. So, and every single UK university will have some sort of scholarship or bursary or discount offer, because they want to attract the best Indian students and best students from around the world to study in the UK. So what students need to do in India is to find the information. That's the critical thing. And they need to go onto the website, such as the British Council's website or British High Commission's website, and they'll find the details there.
Right, so you're saying the information is out there, you just need to know where to look.
That's right.
And sort of focus your energies on that. I was speaking to you earlier, sorry, and you said that had it not been for the scholarship, you were one of those who perhaps wouldn't have then gone ahead with your education there in the UK. Tell us a bit about it.
It was very easy to find information from the British Council website. And I have friends and colleagues who had already informed me about Charles Wallace fellowships in the past. It's been an amazing journey ever since, because it's opened these wide horizons and a whole new avenue for me. And it's actually shaping my practice in a most amazing way now.
Right. And that, of course, perhaps was the idea of getting a platform, you know, like studying this, something like this in the UK. Ankur, you're a Chevening Scholar. What was the whole process like? Did you sort of find it, you know, is it frustrating along the way?
I mean, at some point in time, yes, the process gets frustrating. I wouldn't deny that. But that's altogether for a number of different reasons. Sometimes you see that the scholarships and the admission timelines are very different to each other. They don't really work sort of tie in with each other. For example, I was interviewed for a scholarship and I was offered the scholarship, but I had to sort of submit a letter of admission from the universities that I'd applied to, and I'd applied to only 2. And the timelines in terms of sort of the universities making an offer versus the scholarships sort of deadlines for you to confirm was just it varied by 15 days, and because of which I had to let go.
And those 15 days can be key, I mean, can be make or break in a sense. Why does that happen, Richard? Is that sort of unique to sort of our timelines here in India, or is that something that students all over the world would be facing anywhere in the world, not just the UK.
What we're talking about is the admissions process of universities compared to the scholarship offers, and it's much, much better than it was, say, 5 or 10 years ago.
Of course. Yeah.
So actually they've improved the systems a lot to align these dates, and it was great that we ended up with a scholarship when we had
Absolutely,
great
yeah.
students going to the UK. However, in some cases there are some overlaps between those two processes, and the students got to be patient and can keep ongoing communications with both the scholarship award bodies and also the universities.
Right, so that's an important tip that you have, that stay patient, don't just give up and don't sort of, let the frustration get to you like you did. I mean, you stayed the course and it worked out really well for you. Is that fair, Richard? I mean, is that how you would suggest that students zero in? Because the other thing is, there's so much on offer and everything looks great, and I don't know which one's made for me.
That's right. Well, the good news is there are something like 60,000 courses in the UK, all quality assured. And over the last 10 years, about 250,000 Indian students have gone to the UK, done their studies, come back to India and prove their careers. So there's a whole range of courses in the UK for Indian students to look at. And you're absolutely right to work out where's your career heading and what goals I want to pick up, and then look at all the scholarship and bursaries and financial support you can get to help you get there.
I think what you need to really look at very carefully is what are the demands in terms of and how you're going to fulfill it. They make it very clear in the application procedure that you should have established a form of contact with the host institution. Which means that primarily you need to be very focused on what it is exactly that you want to do. You should have researched a fair bit about what are your aims and objectives and why you want to do this. You should have contacted the institution and to have some sort of a communication with them, which would help you, not only strengthen your proposal, but then also to take it further.
You were perhaps lucky. You said that, around you were all these people who were familiar with, what you were getting into, the kind of funding that you wanted to get. What happens to those who don't have this? Then we're saying that get onto Facebook, get onto, of course, the British Council website, which I've seen personally has links to all the possible scholarships that you perhaps can get. But Ankur, how did it work for you? I mean, who were your kind of influences?
It's about the UK, it's about the course that you want to study, but it's also about the scholarship that you want to be on.
Right.
Because I would say that all the scholarships have a different character to themselves. They're meant for different people. There are scholarships which are, so I wouldn't see a scholarship in the sense that's something that just supports you for you to complete your education. Yes, that's the short-term goal. But in the long term, scholarships are meant for you to get networks, for you to meet people, for you to contribute back to a particular objective. And which is why I see all the scholarships as different. They all pay for your education, but what they lead you to in terms of your career is very different. I didn't have that information when I started.
I didn't have it till this moment, and that seems like an eye-opener, and everyone's agreeing, and that sort of is what I was going to ask Richard that how does one scholarship differ from the other? I mean, what really is the difference? Is the end product that we are creating, that the student who gets a evening scholar is different from one who gets, say, another scholarship, etc., etc. It's how do they vary? You're perhaps answering that, and then I'll get Richard to elaborate.
Yes, I mean, so first I'll answer your first question, I mean, which is about how do you get that information. I didn't have a lot of friends or colleagues, or I didn't actually speak to a lot of people who I knew to be able to extract that information. For me, the first point of sort of information was the British Council. So it was the website, but also the fairs that the council organizes, the talks that the council organizes. So even if it's not meant for a particular scholarship, or even if it's not meant for study in the UK, one must really be engaged in terms of what the council is doing and the lectures at large that the council organizes. So there was actually a science lecture by the rector of the Imperial College that I did go to. And there I met a lot of different scholars.
Even though you were not sort of clear that you were not focused on getting to study something along those lines.
I mean, so I didn't apply to Imperial College.
I see,
Finally, I didn't want to study at the Imperial College, but the rector of the Imperial College was talking about the role of technology in changing the world at large. And I went to that talk, and luckily, there were a number of scholars from sort of various different scholarships who were present there, and that's when I sort of got to know the first sort of instinct about how different the alumnus of one scholarship is from some other scholarship.
I have to
and
say
that's when you sort of build on that information.
That's fascinating, Richard. I mean, that's just fascinating that there's just there might be a lot in common, but there's also sort of very distinct aspects about every scholarship. And do you agree with what Ankur's saying, that at the end it also goes into, it's not just the funding that helps you finish your education, but also plays a big part in who you eventually turn out to be?
We're talking about professional development, and we're talking about professional networks. And I think about the Charles Wallace Trust event we had with a professional network of 100 former scholars here last week. Professional networking, the Chevening Scholarship, the Association of British Scholars. You know, we had our first National Education UK Alumni Awards last week as well. So building those professional networks, which are India, but also international. So some scholarships allow you to kind of then be linked to social and digital media, to professional linked networks you wouldn't normally have. So I think they do have play a key role in your career progression.
Chetan, has that been your experience?
When you go to the corporate world, people recognize you that you've studied particular masters or some other courses from the well-known UK universities, and on the top of that, you have secured a scholarship, which is quite prestigious. And at the same time, those sort of scholarship, if you're talking about a Chevening scholarship, or let's talk about a Jubilee scholarship, which really focuses also upon the developing the leadership skills and how you're going to contribute back to the country when you're sort of done with your course. So that really helps once you go back to the corporate world, and it really helps you to take make a great career jump from there onwards.
Connected with everyone else who's perhaps also been on the same scholarship and therefore is doing new, interesting, different, or whatever else that they're doing in their spheres, in their part of the world.
Exactly.
We as applicants are much clearer about which scholarship I'm tailored for, and which scholarship my skill set suits best to while I apply and while I go for interviews. So it just helps improve your chances to be able to get that admission and get that scholarship if you're clear about these things.
Right, we just need to take a quick break, but before that, if you could just all help me wrap up what we've just been over in the last couple of minutes for the benefit of those who are watching. Do your research, know what you're getting into, have your, where you want to head professionally and work your way back. There's a scholarship perhaps out there with your name on it. You just need to know where to look and the right platforms and the forums that you need to be a part of to look for it. But we're slipping into a quick break, back with lots more.